Hi, this is Greg McIntyre, my show 1 million in 1 year. And I want to call it losing money in 1 week. This episode, I am not a financial planner. I have no financial licenses, so you should not listen to me. However, this is my journey to take money in the digital currency like Bitcoin market, as well as money in the stock market and in some real estate, and turn that into 1 million in 1 year. And I'd been making some significant progress until this week. There was a huge tech sell-off. So a lot of what I have, the main three stocks that I hold that are my base are Tesla, Airbnb, and Apple, all of which went down this week. Apple actually turned up on Friday. So my trades for the week, I initially made a trade off Airbnb starting Monday that made me a significant amount of money per share, which was a margin play. So that's money that I borrowed on the stock that I own. And then the entire set, going into Tuesday, I had a lot of good indicators on Apple and a lot of information that I had gleaned that they had 100 million essentially projected or pre-sales on the iPhone 13. In addition, they had it came out that their service sector or service industry division had 30% gains on subscriptions in February, and then projected like 17% gains in March. And Apple TV's headed toward 100 million subscriptions. And then, the Apple Store, iTunes, those things, all those subscription, Apple Music, that's what contributes to Apple's service industry. So I made a play on Apple and bought 2,600 shares on margin, which is about $300,000. And then after Tuesday, everything started going down. The entire market, especially tech stocks, two main reasons. One, the Fed said it was going to take no corrective measures on the interest rate. And then two, the market and big institutional investors started pulling out large chunks of money and placing them in high yield treasury bonds. So there were, so in that case, you got a bunch of money coming out of tech stocks. And then, in my opinion, what I thought was, okay, well, we're going to see a dip. And then a dip is, the bottom part of, a drop where you want to buy. I think I bought the peak. I bought it about 126, a little over 126 on Apple. But it has been in the 130s. And I thought that I could get a couple of dollar bump per share on that, which would have been great with 2,600 shares. However, when it kept going down, I had a 10% trailing stop, which was at about 114. And it never went back up until Friday. I just had faith in Apple and that it would be seen as a bargain when it went down and people would come in and buy that dip, even big institutional investors. So on Friday, it turned up from like 118 something and went up to 121 and change. So my hope is, because I still held that margin position and I'll hold it as long as I can. And that's what I'm determined to do, because I think it will go back up. And I want to either minimize my losses or I want to make a gain would be preferable, but it would have to go to over 126 from 121 something. I hope that happens. I don't know, but at the very minimum, I think it will continue the upward trend on Monday. I do have to sell about 63,000 to satisfy a Fed call by close of market on Monday, and I have to sell to satisfy a margin call of about 23,000 on Monday as well. However, that's on Tuesday. The margin call comes to you on Tuesday. But I'm really seeing, I think Apple's a bargain right now, and I think it will shoot past that 126 mark, so I'll be able to make a gain. So stay tuned for next week's 1 billion in 1 year and see if I was actually able to turn a gain out of Apple over a 2-week period. Really, I think it'll be a week and a couple of days. And if I have to sell off some of my margin position prior to close of the market at 4 p.m. on Monday and then some on Tuesday, I will. But if the tech stocks will come back, which I believe they will, Tesla is at a just abysmal low of they're in the 500s right now. Airbnb went to, I think, the low 180s. So it's a weird kind of time, but what goes down must come up. And I'm not going to abandon what I think is the future of the market and where I'm basing my strategies. So I'm going to hold that position. And if I have to sell off a little bit at a time as Apple goes up, I will, to minimize my losses and hopefully eke out some good gains in the end. I think Airbnb, Tesla, and Apple are bargains right now. So I think they're a buy. That's my thoughts. I just need to pull all my resources, all my margin resources out of Apple to be able to buy either back in at the dip or to move it to the dip on other stocks like Tesla, Airbnb, and I'm sure there's some others out there. I'd be, looking to do some, I'm looking to do some research this week. Also, I put another $4,300, which are, and I get some rents off real estate every month. I put $4,300 into Bitcoin, so I'm close to having a full Bitcoin, which is right now hovering just under $50,000. So my overall equities, stocks, my stocks, they decreased, they shrank this week. But I expect them to turn up, and I'd like to put more and more money into that. My big play is still Airbnb. I think we're getting the country back open. I think that's happening at a good pace. I'm very happy with that. And I think Airbnb will go through the roof, if double, not triple, and then split within the next year. So anyway, that's my prediction, and it's my goal to acquire a bigger and bigger chunks of Airbnb off the profits, off my day trading profits. So anyway, I will be back with you next week, 1 million in 1 year, and stay with me this episode. I'm going to document my trades next.
All right, so I'm putting 4,300 more in Bitcoin today, and it's sitting at about 51,000 right now. Those are some rents that I had coming in. I purchased Apple yesterday, 2,600 shares on margin, about 300 grand worth. I currently have a Fed call over 63 grand in, that's due by March 8th. So it was down about $2.50 a share yesterday, and I have to have it turn up in order to, number one, make a profit off that trade. Number two, to pay the Fed call. And not my first Fed or margin call, but Apple is projected to sell 100 million iPhone 13s, and their service market like Apple Store and movies and games had a 30% increase in business in February, projected 19% in March. I hope it turns up. Saturday gun show day, and it's the end of my 1 million in 1 year week. I gotta edit it. I think I made, it's more like 1 million in 10 years, I think now. So it's gun show Saturday. I did lose probably 30 grand in overall portfolio value in stocks and equities this week, because I hold a lot of tech stocks and they went down. Who trying to get on my sneeze out? Anyway, they went down, but I did buy another 4,300 in Bitcoin, which I'm happy about, and it's hovering around $50,000 per coin. I almost own an entire coin, and I'll show you my trades. This is 1 million in 1 year. Stay tuned.
It shrank, the overall, but still waiting for Apple to turn up. I hope you'll come back to 1 million in 1 year, where I saw over 30,000 in loss this week just from my portfolio shrinking, but I fully expect it to expand back and further, especially once Apple turns up and I'm able to sell off the positions that I'm holding on margin. So we'll see you next week.